Hello there people, this is Christian. Welcome back to my computer and Fusion for 60. And this little sheet metal part we have in front of us, we can unfold it and have a look at it in its flat form and its bent form. We're gonna make this one. And where is this little exercise from? This is from the YouTube channel Toby, who shares speedrun modeling and other stuff. He is a SolidWorks user, and you can see here are some 3D modeling practices, has some other videos on other stuff, and you can of course do this in Fusion or look at his tutorials on SolidWorks. Most of the basic tools you find in both software. The thinking is the same. It's a parametric modeling system, so you use the same thinking. The tools look slightly different. And here we have a sheet metal hanger. You have a practice video here, and you have Toby's workflow video here. So I'm going to make this part in Fusion. Let's have a look at the drawing. Here is the drawing. It's a bit interesting, it has some interesting features with these sloped sides here. We have this in the A view here. The A view is straight on this face. We have 26 degrees here, and yeah, some other fun stuff. So let's start by breaking down the model. We can look from the top. Let's take this here. We have basically a symmetric part in most direction. We could create we only need to create half. We could create only 1/4 of the model, but it's a bit hard to think sometimes with angles are giving for. Yeah, so I'm going to make basically half of it and then use mirror to complete the part as we work our way through it. Looking at the model, we have these small side flanges, and these small flanges with holes in here. So I'm gonna save those for later. I want to make the large part of the body as early as possible in the design. So I'm gonna try to create this flange thing here, which has some of these 26-degree angles here, so go back and forth. So let's have a look how I make this in Fusion. So hey, we have Fusion. I'm gonna create a new design. Start by saving your designs always, but I'm just gonna start by creating a new component. Let's call it hanger, and let's directly switch the type to sheet metal. Just gonna pick a sheet metal rule for now. We're gonna do steel. That of course we go wrong. Rules. It's now active, so go jump into it. Let's have a look at the drawing. I'm just gonna move things around. Let's move this over here and move the drawing here, so we can see both things at the same time. We have some nice information here. Default wall thickness, that's the thickness of a sheet metal, of course, is 4 millimeters. Default bend radius is 4 millimeters, and that's the inside bend radius should be. So let's jump over. We are in our Fusion. We are in our sheet metal component. So we're going to jump over to the sheet metal tab and have a look at the sheet metal rules. We at sheet metal can have a look at it. Now says 2.5 millimeters. That's not correct. We want 4 millimeters. So let's edit the sheet metal rules here. I'm going to change the thickness to 4 millimeters. Let's open up our bend conditions. Bend radius always set is set to thickness. That's the same as 4, but just for convenience, we're going to type in 4 here. Relief depth. If we have a look at this here, we can see next to the bends we have no reliefs. This bend here, the one that does move over like this bend here is adjacent to this side here and has no relief, so we can do relief depth to 0. Then we have relief width. Is a bit of cheating to make things easier in model. If we see here, we have a 2 millimeter gap around this, and if we do a full side flange with Fusion with inside a hole cut out, it will leave that same relief width to the side. So we're going to put that into 2. Help us a bit later when we design. We're going to do close. We are within the components. We're going to start with the sketch. We're going to do it from the front. My plan is now to make half of a part. We have symmetries in all directions, so make half of it. We're going to start with some lines. So we're going to do up, over, down. I'm going to make 2 lines here, and I'm going to mark these 2 lines and turn it into construct geometry. They are not part of a flange. We're going to add some constraints like that. We could change out these perpendicular to horizontal, vertical, or what do you want to do, but it works. So D for dimension. This dimension here, let's move and have a look at here. It says 65 millimeters, and this is from bottom to outside. So this is the outside, so that's good. So let's mark this, remove it, 65 millimeters. We have a dimension of 170 here, so this is going to be 170 divided by 2. The gap we have down here is also 170 millimeters, so I'm simply just going to pick up the dimension there. And here we're going to have an angle of 60 degrees. Let's open up our sketches, and we have a fully defined sketch. I'm going to finish sketch, and to be a good user, I'm going to name my sketch side profile like that. And let's see, I'm going to create a flange. We're going to select our profile. This case is of course going to be symmetric. The distance we are selecting is always on one side. So we have some helping numbers over here that is a result of this angle face here. So we should not use that, but we need to have a flange that's wider than this, the way I'm doing this. So let's do this 75 because, sorry, 75. Because 75 plus 1 is 150, so that's a wide amount of part. It's going to do a bit of over modeling. Going to look from the front and make sure the flange is on the correct side. You can see the flange is on the outside of the line, and that's wrong. We're going to switch that to side 2, so it's on the inside. Going to hit OK. Going to go to our home view, so we can look at our part. We have a nice little flange here. Let's hide the sketch. Open up our bodies. So we're now going to work with this 26-degree thing here. We're going to create a sketch on this face, so we are looking at the correct direction, like the A view. We're going to hit P for project and project in this face. Hit OK, hide the part. It's a bit easier to see. So this is just construct geometry to help us. I want to do a split face later, so I'm going to do some lines. These lines here, just going to make it all the way up. I'm going to make a line from the middle up to here. That is only perpendicular. I could use, if I wanted, a horizontal constraint or a vertical constraint, of course. Now we're going to add some dimensions. Oh, no, sorry. We need some more constraints. These are not controlled to each other. We could use a symmetry or simply say these need to be equal, because if they are equal, this is a perpendicular line here between, they will stay symmetric around the center line. So, of this line in the middle here. Dimension, the angle between these two. Oh, sorry, both lines. That is supposed to be 26 degrees. Now we need to dimension from this point to this point, and Fusion's a bit naughty because it doesn't understand. So I'm going to S and do PO to find the point command and add 2 points for us. D for dimension. Dimension this here. That was supposed to be 80. Like that. I'm going to finish sketch. If any of you have a better idea of doing this, please share. 26-degree split. So we're going to turn on our body. We're going to go to the solid tab and find under modify our little split face command. What face? The face we were looking at earlier. The splitting tool is, this is why I made this line all the way up. I should now be able to select both lines like that. So I get a double split. Like that. Hide the sketch. You can see the split is now visible. And of course, if we go back to sheet metal and do unfold, select the top, make sure unfold bend all bends, hit OK, we can still see the split lines and they should stay there. So look for top. If we now do create a sketch, gonna make it on the plane. I try to place all my sketches on the origin planes down here. So I'm gonna select this. P for project. I will start by projecting the full body, so we change the bodies. Projecting, we should project in the outline of the body. Hit OK. P once more, switch over to specified geometry. Select our 2 little angled lines. I know it's 18 between here, so let's kind of extend those out. But I want this cut to go through. This here is the bend that's down here. So I want to project in this line too and hit OK. Hide the body to make things a bit more visible. L for line. These two are simply over to here. Like that. This one here I will extend out. Make sure I get the parallel. And from here out to here. Do the same up here. Of course, I could make half of this. And only sketch half of this. Escape. Select this line and make it a construction line. It makes it a bit easier to select. You see, we only have 3 profiles now. Gonna finish. E for extrude, select our 2 profiles, turn on the body, and just tell Fusion to cut all of it and hit OK. We are cutting perpendicular to the face of a sheet metal part, so we maintain the rules of sheet metal. All the full part is 1 thickness, and all cuts are normally perpendicular. So let's refold the part. We can rename this 20C degree cut. Like that. Let's hide it. So let's have a look. We had this dimension up here. This is a reference dimension only. I'm just gonna check here. So I get a little bit lower. If I select this, I have 111.6955 or 111.7. And it said here 112.52 plus minus 1 millimeter. So I'm low. I'm almost too low, but I'm still within specs. So I am pleased with that. I'm gonna close that. Let's create a new sketch on the origin plane down here. We're now going to make this slot cut out here. I want to call it over here. So let's hide the body for now. We're going to need 2 circles. To C, circle, circle. I'm going to do a line from the origin point out to here. Let's add some constraints. Lock things together. These two are going to be the same size. D for dimension. The dimension in the drawing is in the radius, so let's do right click, select radius. This means we are using the same numbers as in the drawing. This line here should be 206 divided by 2. 206 up here. I'm going to make this into construct geometry and also dimension this second here. This should be 154 divided by 2. Like that. So we have 2 circular cuts. Now we need to add some lines. I'm going to simply do like this. For simplicity, hold down shift key. In Fusion, we'll make the line tangent. Going to go down and go back and be tangent. And then tell Fusion that these 2 are horizontal or vertical. Last thing, I'm going to dimension this from here. I want this line here to simply be outside your body so it cuts out. Let's make it 40. I want a fully defined sketch, and we have that. I'm just going to finish sketch. Let's call it slot cut. Going to do an E for extrude. Let's start with the part that's cut all the way through. That's these 2. Simply say all. Extrude. Select the 2 other parts of the profile. This will of course now start from the bottom. We need to start from up here. So I'm going to change our start to object from up here. And then distance all and hit OK. Let's have a look at our part. So we have made our little slot cutout. Thank you. Hide that. Look from the top. Create. We're going to do the square cutout here. So we're going to do a sketch on this plane. We can hide the body once again. We could use a polygon, but we're going to simply do a rectangle. Line. Find the midpoint over here. Make that horizontal. This is a square, so the sides are equal. This is going to be 30. And this here was 40. 40 divided by 2. This line here is only construction. So let's turn it to construct geometry. Finish sketch. E for extrude. Select this here. Turn on our body. And simply say all of it. And let's square cut. Let's name our little sketch. Let's hide it. So we come this far. Let's have a look at this little small flange here. So we're going to do a flange. Select the top edge. We're going to pull it upwards like that. That is correct direction. What we do now, we look at, so this is supposed to be 88. And we're going to do this here from the top face here. That's going to be later the inside face of a bend. So that distance height should be 88 minus 65. And we need to remember the height datum here is now outer face, and the outer face would be the bottom of the part. So we're going to change that to inner face. And of course, we want to check, we can look from the top. We're going to turn on the sketch, look from the top. Where do we place the bend position? We can make it inside. You can see we can move the bend outside, or in this case, adjacent to the edge. And we change the sheet metal rules. That's why we now will get a 2 millimeter gap on the side here, because this is a full edge flange. Gonna hit OK. Hide that. Create a sketch on this side. Gonna do a line up somewhere. Gonna do a circle. This is gonna be construction. That's gonna be horizontal. That line should be, let's have a look over here. Should be 80. Sorry. Oh, come on. Sorry, I had to sneeze. I'm so sorry. 80. And the dimension of this was 10. If Fusion a bit annoying when I jump. When you move the mouse outside of Fusion, it loses the highlight of the dimension or of the sketch part. We are done. Finish sketch. Name it. Name it. Hole cut. E for extrude. Profile. Select direction, this direction, and do all. We cut the font for everything like that. Hide the sketch. Now we basically made most of the part. We could create this flange here, but this is a centered symmetrical flange. This long flange of a side here. Let's move this long flange. So I like to do that after I mirror the body. So we're gonna have the fillets now. Before we move on, we have fillets we're gonna need. Let's see, the fillet down here was 7, the fillet on the inside was 7, and the fillet on the top here was 5. So let's start with 7. This one, let's turn around. This edge and this edge, all of those were 7. We're going to add one more fillet, these two. Those were 5. Let's have a look. We have put on every place. Yes, hit OK. Search key, I already added a mirror to my design shortcuts. You hit S and you find them. Mirror. I'm going to mirror a body. This body across where? Across this plane. Going to hit OK. We get the joins. We have one single body still. And now we're going to add the flange on the side, which are dimensioned a bit strange. They are dimensioned by the length of the face. 15 here. That 15 is a length of this face here. Sure, we create a flange on, this is going to be on the bottom of sketch, of course, because going in this direction. The angle is 75 degrees. And I'm going to make it long enough so I can do the cutoff, because I can't dimension this length of his face here. So I'm simply going to make it 30 for now. It'd be too long. The width is too large, so we're saying change the full edge to symmetric. And of course, as Fusion always counts the dimension distance on symmetries, like it's in both directions. So it's 110 divided by 2. It was 110. The width of that is 110 divided by 2. Yes. And we're going to hit OK. And we have our little flange on the side here. Of course, this is now too long, so we're going to create a sketch of this face. P for project, project in the face. Create a line. We're going to cut away what's more than 15 millimeters. So we do the line, dimension of a line. That was 15. That's from here in the sketch. Hit enter. E for extrude. Select our profile. Check the direction. There's nothing behind, so we can use the all command. Trim 15 millimeter flange. Hide the sketch, and we need some fillet on that corner too. Some of it 7 millimeters, so F for fillet. Select the two corners here, add 7 millimeters, and after that, of course, we need the flange of our size. So S on the keyboard, S on the keyboard. Come on, S. I have mirror here. We can type in mirror. I have mirror under modify. We're going to do the S mirror. In this case, we're going to do features. I'm going to do the flange, extrude, and the fillet. And the mirror plane is going to be the plane here. Get the other side, hit OK. And we have finished our part. So the thing we need to do now, we need to modify and change our physical material. Yeah, I never turned off color cycling. So I have put some favorite because here down here is the density is plain carbon steel. So I put up materials that corresponds to Toby's materials because they are not exactly the same as Fusion. I think carbon steel is quite close, but anyway. So I'm going to take this material and drop it on my part. We get it into the design. Do the close, right click our body and do properties. We should have correctly here. And this is 1026.5. And the correct answer, let's have it. Do we have a video here? We're going to pause this video, move to the end. Answer the answer was 1028 plus minus 10. So I think I have 1026. I think the way I did these 26 degrees angles here are slightly different. And they are slightly dependent on the K-factor. The K-factor changes how the bend looks. But I'm pleased. And of course, just to check things, we can make a flat pattern, create flat pattern, select flat face. We have our flat pattern, including bend lines, finish flat pattern, and then we can also of course use the unfold. Check we can do unfold it and refold. That's basically the same thing. We always have a flat pattern, and now the flat pattern gets angry, so let's delete that. And we still have a flat pattern up here. I'll look at the part and do it output like the DSF file. So this is how I made this sheet metal hanger in Fusion from Toby's little exercise. If you have some better ideas to do things in this part, please give a comment. Tell me better ways to do this. I'm still learning. With that said, take care, see you around, and goodbye.